The engine belt was in very bad shape. I removed it to replace it 2 weeks ago. I already bought 2 new belts. I tested these and they all have bearing sound. So I shopped online and I actually was looking for the clutch only on the compressor. I found this compressor. The guy he was selling it, he said he bought it for his truck. He ended up not using it and sold the truck. And he want to sell it for as is, no return and all that. So I got good deal on it. I paid $60 shipped for it. And it's a brand new. It's never been used. The alternator, I thought about replacing the bearing inside it. I found the new alternator is the exact same match, 95 amp, and it's cheap. This cost $70, so it didn't even worth this one disassembling and all that, and I might find other issue with the brushes and all that. So I went ahead and bought a new alternator. I also bought a water pump. They cheap. It's about $25. I already have bearings to match this one. I only need 2. This is the idler pulley, and the one I found on eBay, they plastic. I cleaned this on the lathe, hit it with sandpaper, and I'm going to replace the bearing. And I bought a new bearing for the fan carrier. The bearing in it shot. It also has some sound. And I bought a new one. Everything on this table cost me less than $200. I drained the old coolant, and then I used the power washer and I injected water into the port of the water pump, and then I let some water go through the radiator and everything clean. And I cleaned this area. I smoothed it up with the wire brush on the drill, very fine wire brush, and everything good. Now I'm ready to install everything. I am going to use my 4-ton homemade press to extract and install the bearings on these two. the socket that I have that fit on the bearing, you need to push it on the outside. If you push it from the inside, you will damage it. You will damage the ball bearing that inside. It will not fit. The jack, it doesn't have enough clearance over here. So what I did, I took this old bearing and I grinded it. On the grinder, I removed probably 2/1000 of inch around, and I held it like this with my finger, let the grinder spin it while grinding it. So hopefully I could extract it easy. I still need to go a little more. Little more. I don't want to damage the snap ring on the other side. As soon as the bearing touch it, I'll stop and put the other ring from the other side. This one done. This one, the bearings have to come from this side. It has this machine surface and it acts as a limit to stop the bearing, and there is a snap ring on this side. It's very important to wear a safety glasses when you do a job like this. As you saw, this snap ring flew off. I'm sanding the outer edge to help the bearing come out easy. Don't machine the inside after you remove the bearings, or the bearings will have a play and it will not seat perfectly. I need to go find something that fit inside here. The bottom over here, I welded a shaft and it's perfectly flat. assembled everything, I put the belts first, and then I assemble these three parts. This pulley go first, then this one, then the fan. They held inside by the shaft of this part. The way I was able to line the three holes to the thread on this part, I used 17mm wrench to hold the bolt that hold the ball bearing in place, and I kept rotating the fan a little bit at the time and kept trying one of these bolts until I was able to line all three holes to the thread. While I was holding it with the wrench, I torque all these using a wrench. And that was easy. I used RTV silicone for the water pump, and I applied anti-seize for the thread of all the bolts so in the future I could remove them easy. This belt, it's easy to install. You tension it by this hydraulic pump. This belt, the way I install it, I put it on all the pulleys and I held it with my left hand around the water pump, and then I pried on the tensioner and I was able to insert it into the water pump. And the way it go, from this pulley of the fan down to the water pump, up to the alternator, to the AC compressor, to the tensioner, down to the crankshaft pulley, and back up to the fan. The most economic way to fill your truck with coolant is to buy the full strength antifreeze. Don't buy the one that's mixed 50-50 because it will cost you more. Buy the full strength and mix it 50-50 with distilled water. Don't use regular tap water because you will damage the antifreeze. I will wait an hour or so for the silicone to harden on the water pump, and then I will add the coolant. I hope this video was informative. I also hope you enjoy it. Thank you for watching and thank you for your support, and I'll see you later.